Okay, so here's something that annoys me. Why is it that so many fans have not seen like any of Michael Jackson's concerts? I swear, every time fans talk about, let's say, Bad Tour, for example, all they ever mention is Wembley 1988 or Yokohama 87. Whenever they talk about Dangerous Tour, all they ever talk about is Bucharest 1992. Most of them don't even know that the concert's fake, by the way. And then, whenever they talk about History Tour, they always say Munich 1997, which is like one of his worst shows on the fucking History Tour. The reason I bring this up, by the way, is because I wanted to talk about Michael Jackson's concerts in general, like what gets released and why. But I thought I would mix that in as well, and how fans are so dumb. They don't even know that, like, there's so many concerts released, about 30 right now. Well, more like 32, 33, I think. Anyway, but they always bring up these fucking concerts when they talk about it. They go, oh, not better than Bucharest, or it's a bit better than Bucharest sucks. Okay, Bucharest is fucking crap. Okay, the edited version's fine, but I mean the real one if you haven't seen it. Anyway, or maybe I just think it's crap because I've seen it so many fucking times. And I just find it so annoying that fans, especially who are like, oh, I'm such a big fan. I've seen Bucharest, I've seen Yokohama, and I've seen Munich 97. It's like, great. There's a bunch of others too. But anyway, the reason I bring all this up is because just last night, Johannesburg, Africa 97 was also released. MJ Beats released it and streamed the whole thing live. Thank you guys for that, by the way. It was enjoyable. But I must ask, and that's what triggered this video, why is it that whenever a concert is released or leaked or whatever, it's always a crappy one? And those are the ones that people get the most excited about. Like, we have, of course, History Tour being his worst tour because of the lip syncing and whatever. We have about 20 History Tour concerts. We have about 4 Bad Tour concerts, and we have only 3 Dangerous Tour concerts in full. You can count Oslo if you want, but we only have 40 minutes of that. Why? Why can't you people ever release a good concert? And not only that, but Johannesburg, I enjoyed watching. Keep in mind that when I say a concert is bad, I'm not saying bad in general. I'm saying bad for Michael. The concerts are still great, especially compared to other artists, but I'm saying bad for Michael's standards. Munich 97 is one of his most popular concerts online, and it's one of his worst of all time. Johannesburg is again one of the most recent leaks, just yesterday, and the concert was honestly pretty bad. I'll go through a couple of examples of how it was bad right now if you'd like. Very bad vocals, I'll get into that in a second. The ending of WBSS during the chant, his vocals were really bad. He missed the spin. He didn't do the Rock With You legs during Billie Jean. He was falling asleep for most of the show. And if you watch the end of Beat It, where he's supposed to go on the floor and start kicking around, that part was cringy. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go back and watch it. Go back and watch the end of Beat It, when he's supposed to go on the floor and start like jumping around and kicking his legs. Watch what he does. If you can't catch it and don't understand that wasn't not enough for you. He basically gave up, then laid on his side like he was gonna fall asleep. It was very cringy to watch him do that. There are times where he was gonna kick up in the air, but then he stopped and got back up, but the way it was in Johannesburg was, wow. The biggest highlight of that concert was the fact that it was probably one of his best Stranger in Moscow's ever, but the rest of it was subpar at best. And I don't fault him, it was the second last show of the entire tour. It's no wonder he was tired, and he was tired. If you watch it, you can see him almost fall asleep in about 2 or 3 parts. And in general, he was just tired, but like, if you're gonna release one of his concerts, why do you have to release one of his last ones where he's dead tired? I don't get it. Now, I was gonna mention his vocals. His vocals are pretty bad in this concert. Now again, many fans believe that he had laryngitis for the entire tour. Those fans are dumb. He did not have laryngitis for the entire tour. The worst concert of all time, vocally, is Munich 1997. Shocking. And he actually had laryngitis during that concert. His laryngitis was actually worst when he was in Germany, so the entire part of the tour he's in Germany, like that Munich 1997 concert, he had laryngitis. Johannesburg, he did not have laryngitis. And even though probably his best vocals on the tour that we know of so far probably came from Gothenburg, Sweden 97 and Copenhagen, Denmark 1997, even then he wasn't perfect. But of course, you know, at this point he's almost 40 years old, he's tired, voice is starting to run, all that kind of shit, which is fine. But Johannesburg was different from the rest of them. Now you could say, well, the whole point is that yes, he was worse because it was one of his second last shows, but he wasn't sick. It was just his second last show, and by this point his voice was starting to go on him. But it's still ridiculous when you think about, like, okay, this is like one of his worst concerts, one of his worst vocally, and he's not sick with laryngitis, by the way. But why do you release this one? There are so many more concerts we can get from the History Tour. And not only, forget History Tour, you could give us so much from Dangerous Tour. Why aren't we being released stuff from Dangerous Tour? That's his best tour, in my opinion. And I want more Dangerous Tour. We still need the other half of Oslo. You could release us Copenhagen, the one where he cut his finger that Shayna recently released. You can give us that whole concert. You can give us anything from the Tokyo Dome at the beginning of the second leg. Those are probably his best line of shows. There was 5 of them. Make a big concert. You can either release one of the 5 or edit all 5 together if you want, and release that. The Tokyo Dome shows would be fantastic. What about Wembley? We have parts of it. What about other concerts where we have small snippets of random jams and random wannabe starting somethings from about 40 different concerts on the Dangerous Tour, where all we have is either 2 minutes of jam or 6 minutes of jam and 1 minute of wannabe starting something, or a whole thing of wannabe starting something, from approximately 40 different Dangerous Tour concerts. Why don't we get anything full from those? Stockholm, Sweden, 1992 would be fantastic, but again, instead, they gave us Buenos Aires, 93, Bucharest, Bremen, where he's actually off as well. I'm not sure if he was sick or not, but you could tell he's either sick or high or something else, but he was definitely off a little bit during Bremen. But of course, we get that concert. On History Tour, we're given Seoul, Korea, 96, and other concerts that don't really matter. On Bad Tour, we're given Wembley, which is fantastic. Yokohama is good too. But other than that, we're given only half of Rome, about 5 snippets totaling 20 minutes from LA, his very last Bad Tour show. We're given parts of the first 2 shows where he had the black shirt and then a red one, and then finally he changed it to silver. But the point is, we need more and we need better stuff. Every time something gets released, it's always a show where it's like one of his last shows on the tour, or he's sick, or he's high, or he has laryngitis. Like, give us a show that is actually considered good. There's so many leaks of History Tour, it's insane. It's like, why do we have to remember him at his worst? Give us Bad Tour or Dangerous Tour where he's at his prime. That's what people want. But whenever we get these leaks, and don't get me wrong, I appreciate all the leaks. I appreciate Johannesburg, Africa, because I liked watching it. But if you're going to release something to show people what he was really like, give us better concerts. And when people just remember stuff like this, it's like, well, they remember again. They just remember Munich, and they remember Yokohama, and they remember Bucharest. But give us something more than that. But even so, it annoys me so much when these fans don't even know that there's other concerts released besides those. The total concerts right now released in full, we have about 30. If you're looking for half shows like Oslo, I think there's like 5 or 6 that are in half footage, like Oslo 92, Rome 88, etc. We have a ton of jam and wannabe starting snippets from Dangerous Tour. We have some snippets from Bad Tour randomly, like some Heartbreak Hotel, some Another Part of Me, some Human Nature, but anyway, the point is, this annoys me, and the Johannesburg concert was nice to watch, but we could see that there was a lot going on, but he was just tired as shit. Anyway, I just wanted to rant about the concerts that I think we should get, and about and how I felt about the Johannesburg concert, and how I feel about future leaks, and how I feel about dumb fans not knowing that there are more than 3 concerts out in the world, because I'm sick of everyone going, whenever they mention History Tour, they mention Munich. Could you at least mention Copenhagen or Gothenburg, because those are his best 2. Anyway, or Kuala Lumpur, that was actually really good as well. Anyway, see ya.